Austin Reaves, he's rising to that level of stardom. The NBA is having him as an industry plant.
I don't want to see LeBron, KD, Steph on Team USA right now.
You just use AD and LeBron as winning the ring in the bubble as an argument.
They still cooking now.
No, AD's been hurt now.
Welcome back to another episode of Harden in the Paint. But before you do, like and subscribe. Smash the like button and subscribe. Let's get it. ISO. People hate Austin Reaves because he's white. Austin Reaves can ball, and I get it. And you might say, we like Luka and we like Jokic. I get that, but the European, you don't like the American whites. But I'm just saying, Austin Reaves is a real baller, and you got to give him a chance. And I get it. He plays with Bron, so I know he benefits off that. But what we've seen in the FIBA games, he was hooping, and he has actual skill and talent. Believe in the boy, he is going to be him. Around the key, this is where we pass the ball around like the Golden State Warriors when I pass it to my co-host. And we have a guest today. Everybody make some noise for Aaliyah Fungshell. Yeah. So,
Thanks,
Miss
guys.
Aaliyah, what do you do for the people out there?
I am a sports reporter and a content creator, so I cover everything. I'll go to different events, kind of show like a day in the life, show behind the scenes, and I really like the off the court type of stories, so I try to focus on that and just showing things that you don't really see normally.
So what's your thoughts on the WNBA?
The WNBA is on the come up. I mean, I was just at the New York Liberty versus the Aces game, and it was sold out. It was going crazy. It's only up from here. The level of basketball is truly amazing. It's a completely different game than the NBA, which is something that people always try to compare them. And if you take the WNBA for what it is and not comparing it to the men counterpart, then it is really good basketball.
There's a thing circulating around in town, and they're saying that James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade.
Listen, it's close. I looked at the stats too, and the stats don't always tell the bigger picture of it, but it's close. The main takeaway is the ring discourse, and I hate talking about rings. It matters here because Wade went to 3 finals. He's won 3 rings. Harden has 0. People will say, oh, Wade had Shaq. Wade had LeBron and Chris Bosh. Let's go through the teams that Harden had, that he's been on. Now, let's go to Thunder, where you had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, a good Serge Ibaka before he got older. Kevin Durant twice with the Nets. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, that big super team that absolutely fell apart. Let's talk about the Rockets with him and Chris Paul. Russell Westbrook was there for a year. And then you go to Philly, and he's got Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP. What has he done? Jack shit. While Dwayne Wade, with all these players that he's had, he's capitalized on them, and he's put on crazy performances. It wasn't just like LeBron carried him or Shaq carried him. He had probably one of the greatest finals performances we've ever seen when he was with Shaq, when he was a young guy in the league too. This was like his year 2 or 3. When LeBron was in town, like he was a key cog in that Miami Heat team. So to say that James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade, it's just the new kids seeing on TikTok, seeing James Harden, flashy passes, whatever, all that bullshit.
Damn,
let's
you
go
kids.
back. Let's go back
I
to Dwayne Wade.
have something to say, but I actually I wouldn't get too excited. Like, I completely agree with you. James Harden, the drama that's around him, the teammates that, it's never been confirmed. We don't actually know. We're not a part of the NBA, but it's like, is James Harden and Kyrie beefing? Is he beefing with Joel Embiid? Like, I don't know. Just that part too just irks me. So I'm Team D Wade. I don't know.
Listen.
Is it a common denominator?
That's the Bleacher Report, the House of the Highlights trying to get
I don't
there.
know.
Not us, of course. But
They called Dwayne Wade the Flash for a reason.
The reason why I have a problem with it, because people act like it's just like James Harden is an elite player. I know we hate James Harden, what he's doing off the court and asking for trades and all that bullshit and partying with little baby. I know we hate him for that. But that man is actually a hooper. When we look at first team all selections, you know how many D Wade got? 2 first team NBA selection. You know how many James Harden has?
6.
6.
But how many total teams did they have?
I don't care. I'm talking about first team.
Wade's got 8. Wade's got 8 all team.
I'm not
Harden's
saying
got
that,
7.
but first team is more important, no?
how has no one brought up the fact that Dwayne Wade was a very, very talented, incredible defensive player, and James Harden is a fucking cone?
Yes.
Sorry. It's insane that we got this long into, and I was quiet. I was not saying anything. We got this long into it before anyone brought up.
We love
There is an, I'm going to sound like Jonah Hill in Moneyball. There's an epidemic within the game right now, and it's that no one gives a shit about defense. And it's because when you said they are saying that Dwayne Wade is not as good as James Harden. They is the TikTok generation who just like to see the highlights and sees James Harden do the shimmy, shake, step back 3. They don't give a shit that Dwayne Wade is locking dudes up.
When James Harden became James Harden, Who did he play under? Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Mike D'Antoni does not give a fuck about defense. So the part of that is Mike D'Antoni's fault. They don't even practice defense. And Mike
It's
D'Antoni,
a players' league. If he went to D'Antoni and said, "Yo, I want to be a good defender," you think D'Antoni's going to say no?
Yes.
I
What?
disagree
They
with
don't
that.
practice
I disagree
defensive
with that.
plays.
I disagree with that. I just can't imagine that an NBA coach, if a player went to him and said, "We
I'm
got to
just
get
saying
better
that's
defense,"
just
he'd say,
never-
"Nah, get out of here."
If you have a coach that doesn't practice defense, doesn't even think about that. All right, James Harden is going to be bad on defense. So that's not kind of his fault. And then it was the whole thing when James Harden got better at defense and like, oh, look, he's trying. And like,
You see, it's like we're looking at like a
it
little
was
kid
just
playing Little
but
League,
I'm
except
saying
it's
it
James
was
Harden playing defense.
It was a different league back then. So like basically when like
Back then.
yeah, because
Relax. What you mean?
'cause-
D-Wade was playing with D-Wade
I
played
get
with
that.
James
My
Harden.
thing is with James Harden. I'm sorry, we're going crazy.
I love it.
My thing with James Harden is that he was that transitional era, right? When the game started to change and evolve more than it is today. Really, like you said, there's no defensive now, right? There's a straight offense. So like when James Harden came into that era, he kind of revolutionized it with Steph Curry. I know everybody likes to just talk about Steph Curry, but James Harden was one of those pieces that changed the game and how it's played today.
Sure.
So, I mean, you can hate defense, but nobody plays defense now. So who gives a fuck?
I disagree with that. There's only been one team to win a championship since the Kobe Shaq Lakers to win a chip that was in the bottom half of the league in defensive rating.
He has an MVP and Wade doesn't have
Wade
one.
should have won an MVP.
But he doesn't.
MVP is a narrative based award.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Valuable is the word. It's not who's the better player. James Harden was on the Rockets when they did not have fucking like anybody. They had some good players later in
Hendrick
his tenure.
Perkins
But
changed the narrative of Jokic getting an MVP this year because it was
don't
a
get me
narrative.
started on Big
But I'm
Perk.
just saying MVP is important. We're not
bringing
going
up
to
Big
act like MVP is not important.
No,
No, it's
It
totally
sure is.
important. It's totally important.
But
So I'm just saying, like, if Wade is a better guard than him and never won MVP, I think that still should raise some type of.
Would you rather have regular season MVP or finals MVP? If we're talking about greater, this all comes down to again better or greater.
I want
one. I don't know, but greater. I think finals MVP is more important.
So I want to bring this up. Dwayne
You were
Wade
the best player on the biggest stage. Sorry.
Dwayne Wade should have won MVP in 2009. Like he should have. Let's look at the stats. LeBron won it. Wade was the scoring champ. He averaged 30.2 points per game. LeBron 28.4. LeBron had seven and a half rebounds. Wade had 5, but Wade had 7.5 assists. LeBron had 7. Wade was averaging 2.2 steals per game. LeBron 1.7. And Wade had 1.3 blocks per game as a guard, shooting 49% from the field. He should have won that, but it was LeBron at age 24. It was narrative based.
What?
MVP that year. It was LeBron. Kobe.
LeBron should have 10
not
MVPs,
finals.
so I'm not
No,
going to
not
take
finals.
that one.
Like
away from him.
regular season MVP
All right,
of that year.
Now what we doing?
Regular season MVP of
What
that
we
year.
doing? What we
Wade
doing?
should have won it.
What we doing?
What do you mean? What are we doing?
You saw. All right, bro. All right.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You have to give
It's
me
a
hot.
scoring champ.
I don't think Harden should have won MVP of the year he did. I think it was a similar to what happened with Embiid, where it was kind of like a sympathy thing, and because he doesn't play both sides of the ball, Giannis should have won that year too.
It's called motherfucking bars right there. You don't know bars.
Defense, baby.
I like the defensive piece. Dennis Rodman's my favorite player, so of all time.
Interesting.
Wow.
Besides LeBron, biggest LeBron fan, but so defense is huge for me.
What's your thoughts on the NBA today, like how it's played? Because obviously you watch the WNBA and you know
Yeah.
it's like so skilled and like
Yeah.
technical, like as far as that. Because Kobe once said that the women are more skilled than the men.
Oh, yeah.
So seeing that and seeing how the NBA is played today, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I like the WNBA, and I know a lot of college coaches, men's college coaches, that tell their teams to go watch WNBA just for the playmaking, the passing, so good. But I mean, like the NBA is a walking highlight reel right now, and like it's the generation of highlight based stuff. But I think we need some great rebounders, some more defensive people that can just dive for loose balls, like put their body on the line, like Dennis Rodman did. So I don't know. I miss that style of basketball, that chippiness.
Draymond said.
Come on. Draymond, no.
Draymond's not like that. He's not a great rebounder.
I mean,
he doesn't put his body
He's
on
not.
the
He's
line.
not like that. I don't think like
Blake
Dennis.
Griffin.
Dennis.
Later stage of his
I don't
career.
think of when I hear
he was like that.
I'm saying.
when I hear Dennis Rodman, I don't think of Draymond. Like,
Yeah.
I think of like old school
Jeremy
defensive
Sochan.
type rebounders, like a Dennis Rodman, like Shaq was unbelievable.
Sean Holmes last
Bill
year.
Laimbeer, love that.
talking about old people. I'm just talking about
modern
now.
guys.
But I'm saying a modern guy would be like somebody like James Harden, no? I mean, not James Harden, excuse me. Draymond Green, no?
I mean,
Yeah, that's a good
I
comp.
guess, yeah. And he is
Yes.
villainized a lot, but also rightfully so because he does a lot of
Because
crazy
we ain't
stuff.
thinking about fucking Robert Williams when we think about a player like Dennis Rodman, no?
Robert Williams.
He's nice, but I'm just saying, what Dennis Rodman can do and how he affects the game and how he changes the game, that's somebody that Draymond is. Like, you don't realize it just because it's not that flashy 3-point, shake them up shit. But it's just like when you get hard-nosed players like that, defensively, mentally tough, those are the type of guys I think of along the line as Dennis Rodman. Obviously, he's not Dennis Rodman, but it's just like they do different
100%.
things.
I think maybe that's why I don't think of Draymond, because he does a lot more on the offensive side of the ball in terms of seeing the court, the IQ. Where Dennis Rodman, I think of just guys who are mainly focused on the rebounding and the defensive side of the ball, and will throw you in the paint. Where Draymond can play around the key, he passes the ball very well, and he's not a domineering presence on defense in terms of his size like Dennis Rodman was, but he does.
Rodman wasn't that
do that.
big.
Rodman was what, 6? Oh no, you're right. Rodman
I don't know
was
how
like
tall
6'4".
he was, but
I don't know why.
also
I
the
think-
Dennis Rodman probably wouldn't exist or wouldn't be as big a star in today's NBA. I hate saying this, but like you can't really be like almost non-effective on offense and be a 20-minute per game night guy.
No, you're
So
right.
you're saying Dennis Rodman today wouldn't be effective.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
No, because you gotta think that is a valid argument.
It would be-
Like,
it would be
it's a different
Yeah.
game.
If he was maybe around the coaches that said like, bro, maybe work on your free throws a little bit. Here's how you do like a dribble handoff, the type of shit that the Warriors do. Then he's such an intelligent player. I think he would have adapted
know, but
with the game.
When
if he
you're
grew
playing
with
with like MJ and Scottie Pippen, you have to fill in the gaps.
That is
So I
absolutely
think
true.
he knew what his role was, and
he's
filled
not
in the
taking
gaps.
shots,
So
yeah,
question,
from MJ.
If he played in today's era, would he be like a Birdman? Honestly, I mean, honestly,
Fuck
because
yeah.
you got to think about it. If you can't do anything offensively, right? When you talking about cleaning up the boards and playing defense, like you're only subjected to this role, and then people don't look at you the same. So like that's why the big man now in today's game is kind of like non-existent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you look at like somebody like Dennis Rodman and you see him running around, I don't know if we look at him the same, even though his stat line was fucking crazy. But it's just like Birdman.
He would be one of those guys where it's like a matchup based thing, and then he'd come in and like play like big minutes for like every other game, and everyone would be, and he'd be like diving for loose balls and like causing a ruckus, and all the fans would love him and be like, why doesn't this guy play more? And then the coaches would be like, oh no, we need the spacing. Me,
I think the closest thing to that would be Meta World Peace.
Yeah.
that's not a bad take.
Defensively,
He hit that 3 though.
yeah, he hit that.
Yeah.
But I'm
Passing the
saying
ball.
like offensively, that's what you will want in terms of a guy that can do it both ways.
But Rodman, like back then, also like we're talking about the size too. What Colin brought up, like he was 6'7", so he had to overcome that type when there was a lot of big dudes by playing extra physical and being more scrappy. Like you said, he'll play every other game a lot of minutes, but then there are those games where he'll play 4 minutes. There's a reason for that. It's matchup.
The US1 dominated last night, and one of the big stars was Anthony Edwards. Everybody loves Ant. Everybody loves fucking Anthony Edwards. Is Anthony Edwards going to be the face of the NBA?
I don't know the face. I feel like he'll probably rise to like Giannis level of just everyone loves him. I mean, I love Anthony Edwards. You brought up Austin Reaves earlier, and I did go to college with him, so I'm a little biased, but I saw someone the other day called him an industry plant. Like the NBA is having him as an industry plant, and I think he's rising to that level of stardom that kids are like, I could be like him. I could do that. So I think he has that appeal.
Austin Reaves can be the face of the NBA.
For young, okay, for like maybe like high schoolers down, like those kids that are always on TikTok.
I think
Rob-
I do.
Rob
I
with
think
that
here's the
take.
thing. I think I know what you're talking about, and I know because people, when like Steph and LeBron were playing in the finals and they were like developing that rivalry, he said, I think people like me because they look at me and like I'm kind of like scrawny. I'm not some big muscular guy. They can see me and say that looks like me just like running around. And Austin Reaves looks like that.
This
Looks
kid
like that
from
for me.
Arkansas, like, you know, with his little country accent, now playing alongside LeBron. LeBron's like in love with him. It's crazy.
That doesn't make you the face of the NBA. Let me be clear.
Yeah,
But
no.
Every couple of
It's
years,
a good story.
Every couple of years, NBA fans get fixated on a new white kid. So this is Austin Reaves. Then it was Alex. Before him was Alex Caruso. Then
Joe
there was
Harris won the 3-point
Joe
contest
Harris.
for the
People
Nets.
love Joe Harris for a while. Jimmer Fredette. You know,
But Caruso was nice.
No, I know. They're still nice.
And like to me,
Yeah, of
Caruso what
course.
he does defensively, but I think with Reeve, he's undrafted one. Kind of came out of nowhere. There's certain expectation of Reaves. But Reaves be hooping, like, you know what I'm saying? But we don't know if that's a benefit because he plays with Bron or if that's just him. And now when I looked at the game yesterday, right, as soon as he checked into the game, he shot a three, made a three. He got to the rack, and everybody cared about him. When you think about the two players on that team that people care about, it's Ant and it's Reaves. Anthony Edwards and Austin Reaves will be the face of the NBA going down the line. He said that. He was like, yo, people will pick me up in the AAU game and then get cooked, but they pick me up because I'm white.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, and I get it, like, but I'm just saying, like, I think that people don't think he can hoop like that because he's white. And, like, obviously, the only whites that people respect is the Europeans. So it's time for him to bring it home, baby, to America.
You're talking about, like, LeBron level, Steph Curry level. Giannis is the face of the NBA as well. You're talking, like, global marketing, where I don't know if kids in, like, Europe or China or wherever all around the globe are going to be wearing Austin Reaves jerseys. You'll see LeBron jerseys when you go abroad. You'll see Steph Curry jerseys, of course, going abroad. I don't know if you'll see an Austin Reaves jersey.
I don't know if you'll see an Ant-Man jersey,
exactly.
though. Like, that's the thing. But you'll see a LaMelo Ball jersey, which is crazy.
It's tough because we're talking about future, and it's tough to predict the future, but I just feel like it's Steph just because of how he's changed the game and, like, shooting threes. Like, the shot that every kid is practicing the most in their driveway right now is a three-point shot.
Well, I'm saying, we're talking about Steph is already, like, now. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the future. I'm talking about
well, that's what I mean is I'm looking for the next guy who maybe has a game that's transcendent.
My fear with Ant is that he won't live up to the expectations. Right, I think Ant is him. I think Ant is proving that. But, like, if you look at obviously his first playoff stint, he kind of folded. Yeah. And, like, obviously he's young, so we'll give him that pass. Nobody's riding on Ant for that. But when you think about maybe 2 years down the line and he hasn't lived up to the expectation we wanted him to be, then we might turn on him. And I don't want that to happen. The hooping is there. But if it's not there in 2 years, how do we look at Ant?
I'll say this for Anthony Edwards. I remember when he was getting drafted, there were a lot, I don't know where it came from. There were a lot of people who were saying, like, oh, kind of like questioning his, like, love for the game. Like, it was, people were saying, like, he just kind of, like, does this basketball thing. He doesn't live and, like, eat and, like, breathe it. I think he's already, he put that narrative to bed quick as soon as he hopped on the stage.
We've seen guys in the NBA, though, that treat this as a 9 to 5. I mean, Jokic won 2 MVPs and NBA Finals. Treats this as 9 to 5. He cares more about his horse race championships. I know he's a little different, but Anthony Edwards, because when he was getting drafted, he was talking about how he could be an MLB All-Star, he could cook in the NFL, but that's just pure confidence. I love to see it.
FIBA basketball had their scrimmage last night. I don't want to see LeBron, KD, Steph on Team USA right now, just because this is the FIBA basketball. Olympics, yeah, it's good to have the stars. Team USA, we got to take that gold every fucking year. This year, FIBA, that's below those players' pay grades. I don't want to see, if I see LeBron and Steph and KD running around like that, I'm getting scared for every step they take because they're playing against guys from other countries who are out trying to make a name for themselves, and they're going full throttle. I don't want those guys to get hurt. And also, I love this team that we have now. Mikal Bridges, we got Jalen Brunson, we got Ant-Man, we got B.I., we got Halliburton. This is a fun young squad. We got Reaves too. Like, this team is so much fun to watch. I watched them last night against Puerto Rico. This is how it should be. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Trae Young. I think Gilbert Arenas said, oh, he should definitely be on that team. He still, like, fits, like, into the young card, but there's a certain drop off, and this is the team that Team USA should have right now.
Streets are saying Nike blocked Trae Young from being on.
Why?
That's why I'm here. That's why I just saw a headline, and I saw, like, I think it was some Bleacher Report or somebody said that Nike blocked Trae from being on the team, or might have had some influence.
Well, I would like to know why next time.
Because Trae's not signed by Nike, right?
Huh?
Trae's not signed.
I don't know what Trae's.
I don't know what Trae's signed to.
Adidas.
Yes.
So checks over stripes.
He's going to be Isaiah Thomas a couple years now. I had the criteria or whatever.
I don't know. I agree with you, though. I look at the FIBA stuff almost like a glorified NBA Summer League. It's like a really good opportunity to see these younger guys take that next step, and we can see what they're capable of against, not as good of opponents. So I agree, and I would hate to see anything happen to LeBron or KD in these games. They don't really need it. It's not the Olympics.
It's just below their pay grade.
I just think FIBA is like a waste of time. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get it, but it's just like, if it's not the Olympics to me, I don't even give a fuck. Like, why do we have another tournament for us to play against the world again? Like, I just don't care. Like, whatever happens in the FIBA, like, obviously we should win, but it's like we send our B team over there, And like, I don't like, no, nobody really cares about that. If it was the Olympics where you have the big guys over there, like you said, I think we would give a fuck about it more. But like this FIBA shit, like you said, it's a glorified summer league. So I don't give a fuck that they're getting the reps in. Like, we played Puerto Rico yesterday. Like, what's that going to do?
That was just like the first like scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. I'm agreeing with you.
Well, for other countries, isn't like I don't know. Am I mistaken? Is Luka playing for his country? Like, are other stars playing for their countries? I feel like
Canada has a pretty solid team, so I'll look forward to that.
I think it's like that. Like I like this young team. I like to see young guys like get the chance, get the runs that they usually won't get in terms of on the big stage. Like, you're not going to see Walker Kessler on Team USA. Let's be honest. Like, you're not going to see. I don't know if you'll see Tyrese Halliburton either, but seeing him with this team, it's fun. It's a lot of the fun young guys getting together. And I don't know, maybe they build connections. Maybe they do a little collusion here and there.
Good confidence boost.
So many super teams have been formed in international basketball competitions.
The banana boat guys.
I seen a picture where Edwards was hugging Spo, and it was like his future coach.
I'm just saying.
Dude, I thought you were going to say something else. I saw a picture where it was the biggest stretch ever, and I immediately liked the one comment on it that said, like to delete this post. And it was a picture of Anthony Edwards, and he had Jalen Green to his right. Oh, God, I probably just need to find it because I can't, but someone else to his left. And it was like Team USA has always had like a dynamic two-way forward, like a high-scoring, and it was like a picture of like, or one of them was LeBron, Kobe, and Wade, and then the other one was like Jordan, Magic, and like Clyde Drexler. And it was like, yeah, Jalen Green is like in this, and it's just like, shut up.
No, but listen, you're playing with these coaches. Like, this is the first time all these players are playing with like a Spo, a Steve Kerr. Like, you get a feel for their coaches now. You're like, maybe I kind of want to play for that coach in the future, or maybe I want to like link up with these guys. Yo, we're free agents at the same time. Maybe I want to play with you. Maybe we could actually do something in the league because, like you said, Austin Reaves and Anthony Edwards, they're cooking in this. They could either be, we're going to be butting heads for the future and be against each other, or we could run the league if we link up.
Listen, man, I just don't get it. As somebody that's a fan of basketball and watching games, I just feel like Jeff Van Gundy and the guy Mark Jackson, with all due respect, with Mike Breen, was a great trio. So if you move away from that trio, I expected them to get younger. RJ's out there. We love RJ. Even if I know you hate Perk, you could have just went with Perk just for the entertainment value. And you could have hated him. But I understand it. I get
you
it.
Get some laughs.
But ESPN went with Doc Rivers and Doris Burke. I love Doris. But I don't want to hear her sideline. Like, I prefer, to me, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson. Yeah. So I just don't understand that. I feel like when you make those decisions, you get younger. You don't get older.
I mean, requirement number one, if I'm going to have to listen to you for an hour and a half every night, should be that your voice doesn't sound like you smacked a pack of cigarettes a day for 10 years. And that's what Doc Rivers is. Like, and it's sad because, like, Doc Rivers, like, probably definitely great basketball mind. He played for years, coached for years. So he definitely knows a lot about the game. But I'm sorry, I just don't want to listen to that sound. I heard Doc Rivers' voice for the first time when I was, like, 5 or 6, I was watching a Celtics game, and it was when they like do it like mic'd up when they're in the huddle. It was the first time I heard his voice, and I was like scared. Like, I was like freaked out. Oh, that sounded like a monster.
That's a youth thing. But I don't want to.
Maybe I was a kid.
I don't want to listen to Doc Rivers either, because Doc Rivers to me is like, I feel like he left a bad taste in my mouth, because I feel like what he did with the Celtics post Boston Celtics, and then having those, like, that stint with the Clippers and with the 76ers, and like choking at certain moments and not giving them those hump, because he had really good fun teams that you wanted to see win. The fact that Doc Rivers left there with nothing both times, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Now, that shouldn't have to do anything with his commentating, but I don't know if he was the best person when I was just like, I want to listen to Doc Rivers. What does he have to say? No.
I just wish I could put his brain in another voice box. That would be perfect. Totally impossible.
I mean, he did. I mean, that was the best thing about Doc, though, when you used to like listen to those huddles and how he would draw up plays and like how he would like make different like changes and adjustments. But maybe that's why they probably thought that Doc Rivers would be good. But
give me someone like knowledgeable. Also give me someone like totally fucking weird. So I don't know who would be the knowledgeable part, but like totally someone weird. Bill Walton. I don't know. That'd be fun.
My thing is not Bill Walton. My thing is like RJ. Like RJ is the perfect
best
person. Like, I don't understand how that wasn't even a thought. Like, obviously, they still have him.
Knowledgeable, hilarious. Doesn't sound like he smokes a pack of cigarettes.
JJ Redick.
The thing about Doc Rivers is I would much rather see, rather than him commentating, maybe having a Kardashian style type of TV show around his life and the Currys, because there's like so much. He is like, I saw something on Twitter that he is just so weaved in with different like NBA families. I mean, his daughter's married to Seth Curry, and just like, I would rather see the drama surrounding that than to see him commentate.
I'm gonna give you my top 5 duos. Right?
Oh boy, here we
Let's
go.
do it.
Top 5 duos in the league, and this should be interesting. Number 1, Jokic and Murray.
Hard to argue against.
Hard to argue, right? Number 2, Bron and AD. KD and Book at 3, Tatum and Brown at 4, and Luka and Kyrie at 5.
On the defensive side of the ball, Luke and Kyrie, but I don't know.
Tell me I'm wrong. Let me know.
If we're going, the thing is, there are so many factors that come in and out. Another one is health. If we're gonna count like two-way, but we're gonna throw health out the window, and it sounds like we're doing that if we're talking about
But it's
AD,
like 2K
Yeah.
we're taking off the
then
sliders.
then Kawhi and PG
Yeah.
are the best two-way when healthy duo.
Alright.
in the
Yeah,
league.
no, I would put Kawhi.
They're both the only guys who are 25 point per game average scorers and have been in defensive player of the year conversations.
if we wanna-
won it a couple times.
So
for
where would
Kawhi.
you put Paul George and Kawhi in the top 5 duos?
Again, I reiterate, we're not talking. We're not talking. We're talking about fully
Where
healthy.
would you put them?
I put him 3. I'll help you out, Colin.
I'll put them 2.
2 over
I'll put 'em
Bron
2.
and AD?
I would.
Listen, Bron and AD won a ring.
I know.
They did it.
Yeah.
I know.
Whatever they were trying to get, whatever
Right
your
now-
average is,
Bronze.
they got the ring,
Yeah.
they got the chip. They were
I
in the
know.
same bubble,
Hey,
and they
man.
were healthy at that time, and they got that ass bounced.
This is
in
me.
3-1.
This
I'm
is
just
me.
saying, you
It's
saying
my
duos,
opinion.
So I'm giving you why they're better. AD and Bron are better because they won that ring. They had success. They went to a Western Conference Finals. Have the
get
Clippers
it.
I
been
feel
to
like
one?
the emphasis is on the past tense though. Like AD has not been exciting me. I know he's been injured, and I know, but like, and I'm the biggest LeBron fan, but I don't know. I just don't think they should be that high up on your list for the 2023 season.
Yes.
Why? Because after everything that we went through, right? Everything with AD being hurt and not being on the court, he had that 10-game run when he was just like looked amazing, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, right? And then they had that playoff run when he looked, sometimes, but defensively he was just unreal. Like to me, defensively he was the best in the playoffs, right? And they reached to the point where they got to the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, they lost to the defending champs. Now, I was about to say the Jokic's, the Nuggets.
the Denver Jokic's.
But I'm just
Might as
saying,
well
like
be.
what they did, him and Bron did through that series when they beat Memphis and they beat the Golden State Warriors and they had fucking Steph Curry seeing ghosts. I think that you have to put that into account when you're talking about current. What we've seen, if they have a full season and they are healthy, they can continue that same thing again. We're talking about relevance. I can't put Paul George or Kawhi there because of what they did in this stint. We talk about health, but when they were healthy, what did Kawhi do when he was healthy in terms of this playoff run?
He was carrying the Clippers past the Suns.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
got hurt.
and
That's
then-
what he was
We're talking
doing.
about if. There's a whole lot
But
of if in
everybody
this
talks about
conversation.
Russ and not Kawhi.
All right, well, that's just
I love
another.
Kawhi.
That's just another
Now-
thing where you hate Russ.
Now,
I don't hate Russ.
real quick, would you rather you'd rather Devin Booker with KD than Bradley Beal with KD?
Yes,
Have
yes,
KD
yes, 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 yes,
Really?
yes,
What
yes.
are you talking about?
Really? What do you mean? What are we talking about?
Devin Booker is better than Bradley Beal. So
Yes, and it's not even
That's not even a
close.
question. I think Bradley Beal is better than Devin Booker.
Yes, and I'll tell you my reason. That
Correct.
boy nice. That boy nice.
That
That's it.
boy nice.
You had this reason before. You had this reason for Kyrie.
All right, but what
Bradley
all right,
Beal?
so
That
what is
boy
your
nice.
I'm rocking with you. That boy nice. What do you can you give me something?
Book's a
but-
better passer. He's a better shooter, efficiency wise, from everywhere on the court. He's a better defender. It's not close.
I think
It's not
closer.
close.
I think it's closer. Bradley Beal is an unreal hooper. Like one
But
of
what
one.
has Bradley Beal done in
Bradley
the last
Beal
2 years?
also gets hurt all the time.
Okay, but we're
like, that's
talking
just
fully
a
up.
little.
We
That's
just-
just a cherry on top of the sundae that tells you
Colin,
Devin Booker
you
is so much
talked
better.
about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George being
I know.
healthy.
I know. The
That-
cherry on top. It's it's the fifth thing that makes Devin Booker better than Bradley Beal.
Ooh, okay, Luka and Kyrie at 5. Do we want to replace that 5 right
I
there?
would. I'm just not big on Kyrie in this day and age. I know in his past he was, he's a phenomenal player. He's just not performing the way he should be. And so I don't know. I think we could swap it out.
He's performing pretty
I don't
good.
know. I just think
I agree.
Wait, with me?
Yeah, I agree with you that
We're
we
on
should
the same
swap it out.
wavelength today.
I
Yeah,
think
swap it out. Like, I think they should be 6.
I would put in, honestly, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I would rather Steph Curry as a duo.
Nah.
Steph, what do you mean no?
Nah.
It's Steph Curry, one of the greatest basketball players on the planet.
Is washed.
No, he's not.
Klay Thompson is washed.
Klay
Thompson's not.
Klay
Klay
Thompson's
Thompson's
He's bouncing back.
washed.
He's bouncing back.
Klay Thompson
You
is
really
washed.
gonna like put Klay Thompson though like on the same level as all those other three players, Luka, Kyrie, and Steph?
Kyrie would
As a
love
duo,
Klay
as a
Thompson's
duo,
one
I
of my
would.
favorite players ever. He's just not.
I would, but as a
He's not a
duo-
1A.
as a
He's
duo,
not a 1A.
though,
All those other guys are 1A.
Yeah,
It's
Klay
half-
had-
that's
Klay had-
50% of the duo.
Clay had a career year last year. He had like one of his best seasons of his career.
And
last
it wasn't
year.
as good as any of the years that Kyrie or Luka has had.
But I'm looking at the duo,
Sorry.
though. Like,
Yeah,
if
the
we're talking
duo is
about
important.
duos.
The duo is important.
Yeah.
So but right now, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
talking
don't
about. We
know.
talking about right now.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not
right
talking
now.
about what they did. I'm not talking about the 4 rings because he said he was embarrassed about the 4 rings.
You
thing.
just use AD and LeBron as winning the ring in the bubble as an argument.
Yeah, but I'm saying they still cooking now.
No, AD's been hurt.
They just went to the Western Conference Finals. What are you talking about?
Swept.
Bro, no, let's stop. We run the
Shovel.
We beat Ja.
Sweet.
We beat Ja. We did, right?
I don't know. I'm also
Okay, you beat John
We
Dylan
beat,
Brooks.
hey,
Oh,
who did
Dylan
we
Brooks.
beat? We
Ooh.
beat Steph Curry and fucking Klay Thompson, the dramatic duo
Fine.
that you love.
The
What are you
Nets are
talking
going to the
about?
finals this year.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
see,
This is
that's-
the duo you
that's
just
my-
said we beat them.
Okay. All right.
What are we talking
No,
about?
LeBron and Austin Reeves beat them.
All right, no.
Dude, I'm so lost right now.
All I'll say is Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, 6th best duo in the NBA. I don't know.
That's my fucking
that's-
dog right there.
Streets
Hell
of
yeah,
Streets
two-way
of
basketball.
I say Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. I love their
my
chemistry.
Jalen Brunson and
I'm a Knicks fan, so I had to throw that in there.
I mean,
We could tell.
I would
when
take-
when you put in,
for the duo, I would take Josh Hart out and put Julius Randle in because it's Julius Randle and
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson. But I get it. They're top 10.
who do you think is going to be the next Kings?
I want to say the Oklahoma City Thunder. Hot take, I know, but Chet Holmgren was injured all of last year. Now he's healthy. SGA, I'm big on SGA, and so I think I don't know how deep of a run they can make, but I think they will surprise people. And so I would just love to see them be the next Kings.
I'm with you. I like OKC too. I think I want them to take the next step. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been talking about Giddy for years.
Yeah.
And then they got the big sexy and Chet. And I think they need to make that next step now. I think you have all the pieces. How many draft picks do you need? So now you can use all those draft picks. Sam
Exactly.
Presti, you have to make it happen. I know you're top there. OKC will take that next step and be that elite team because we all love SGA.
the Thunder, people kind of like expect them to like take like a leap this year. They got all that young space. No one saw this Kings team being the 3rd seed in the West. So I'm picking a team that absolutely no one is thinking of right now, but I do think they could. They're going to do exactly what the Kings do. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to make the playoffs. Next year, Sacramento Kings will be the Indiana Pacers. The Kings this year, it was the offense that got them there. They had one of the most efficient offenses ever. And it was built around Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. I think that Tyrese Halliburton is another one of the best young point guards in the league. He can run an offense. Miles Turner, probably top 10 big in the league, when he's not being shopped every single year, which this year I think they finally said we're going to hold on to him. But the Kings, no, they were a middle-of-the-pack team. They were 16th ranked their offense in 2022. How did they get better? They added a dead-eye shooter in Kevin Huerter. What did the Pacers do? They added a dead-eye shooter in Ben Shepherd out of the draft, shot 40% at college. He's going to be a stud, I think. They added a 2-way floor spacing forward in Keegan Murray, absolute stud. What'd they do this year? Same thing. Bruce Brown, 2-way floor spacing forward with some championship experience, might I add. After that, they added a spark plug off the bench, Malik Monk, i.e., that's, what's his name? Buddy Hield. I think they could absolutely make that jump. I think the East is weaker than it was at the beginning of last year. I think there's going to be room for some wins. And they got Obi Toppin. Why the hell not?
I think
They also got a good veteran coach, Rick Carlisle, with some young guns, just like Mike Brown, Coach of the Year, Sack.
I think Obi will perform really well under that coaching.
I think so too.
I
I just
didn't-
like Tibbs. You don't play young guys, and
Yeah.
it's just the whole thing. And now a Toppin can really go off and do his thing.
Yeah, because I as much as I love Obi and I love the Knicks, he just wasn't getting the playing time or the opportunity.
I think this year's Sacramento Kings is going to be the Utah Jazz. Do not sleep on the Jazz. They're starting 5
He's
right
already
now.
snoring.
It's Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, and Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler, I love Walker Kessler. Such a miss for the Timberwolves to trade him, the rights to him away, essentially, because they traded the pick, which turned into Walker Kessler. I think he's going to have a monster year. You saw it when he really started to get minutes towards the back half of the year that he was doing really well.
The Jazz.
Lauri Markkanen.
The Jazz?
Yeah, the Jazz. They just drafted the kid Taylor
The
Hendricks.
Jazz?
Yeah, the Jazz.
You don't believe that.
I do believe that.
Look me in the eye and tell me you believe that.
I believe that. I believe it. I do believe it. I think this team could take the next step. I think they have it. I think these guys are a lot of like John Collins and Colin Sexton are two guys that people undervalue and for right or wrong reasons. I get it, especially John Collins in a new environment. He needed to get out of Atlanta. Atlanta needed to get him out of there.
I am happy for John Collins, speaking of guys who are just constantly in the like news. Oh yeah, we're going to trade this guy.
Yeah.
That's so lame as a franchise. Do it or don't. Don't dangle a guy out like he's a piece of fish bait.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, lottery.
Listen, you'll see. You said the same thing about the Sacramento Kings last year, and look at it now. So
Yeah, but they had them boys. You know what
I also
I'm saying?
forgot about Benedict Mathurin, by the way.
Yeah.
First team all rookie. No one talks about him. Absolute bucket. And they fucking
You
drafted
said it like
Terrence
it was
Walker.
your team.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There are solid pieces that they have there. I think they could actually put it together this year. This is the year, led by Lauri Markkanen, that they're going to do it.
That would be insane if they do make a run 2 years after blowing it up and like they get further than they did without Donovan Mitchell and Gobert.
I mean, they started the season hot last year.
And Lauri Markkanen, thank you for
And they
your
was like, oh, no,
service.
we got to tank. We give the guests the hottest take. So what is the hottest take of the next season that you want to see?
Damian Lillard is finally going to get a ring this year, this season.
Shout out your socials and everything where everybody can find you.
Yeah, you can find me pretty much anywhere at Aaliyah Funshell, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and also Sports with Aaliyah. So that's where I am. I'm everywhere.
For your sports betting tips, go to thegameday.com. Like and subscribe. We out of here. Gang, gang. Does JBobby make you angry? Well, that's good. Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, baby.